and in pancake.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is Kendrick Lamar's 5th studio album released on May 13th, 2022. Most of you were probably there when it dropped like I was, so you don't really need to know this. In the last few months, amidst the Kendrick and Drake beef, which I will not talk about because a million other people on YouTube have already, Drake made the mistake of talking about Mother I Sober, one of the best tracks from Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers that he clearly did not understand. This beef sent people back to the album to give it another chance, and I want to start by describing what made this album special. Kendrick Lamar has always been this weird mystical boogeyman figure for like the last 10 years or so, and him taking a long time to release this album since Damn made people get a little too hyped. Kinda like how Playboi Carti's fanbase acts if they were a tiny bit more civilized, and it doesn't help that with The Heart Part 4 kinda alluding to the beef with Drake in the future and problems with Big Sean, but, you know, whatever. So after 5 years, Kendrick breaks his silence by saying he's gonna drop the album May 13th, and everyone goes crazy. Then The Heart Part 5 drops, which sonically is one of his best songs ever. I mean, please listen to this in some good headphones, man. It does not disappoint in the slightest. So anyway, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers drops, and it's not what people expected. Kendrick breaking his 5-year silence to talk about heartbreak, grief, growth, change, therapy, and just being human is not what people wanted. People wanted the boogeyman and they wanted bangers. Even I did. When I reviewed the album on my video, I wanted Kendrick to come with some bangers. But more than anything, my video reviewing the album sucks because I didn't have any strong opinion. The album wasn't a masterpiece to me yet, and at the time I just kinda skipped doing any real analysis. This video sucks. Please dislike it. I wanted to get clicks from it being a relevant topic when I wasn't skilled enough with my videos to make it even an ounce interesting, and for the next section of this video, I want to go back through my Mr. Morale review and pick apart the most egregious points. We've seen it all, we've heard it all. God, the compression on my voice sounds awful. I think this is when I was still using like a Blue Yeti and I was recording on Streamlabs. Mad Villainy 2, Yandi, Detox, Andre 3000 solo album. Will that age like milk? Also, why did I make the background music so loud? Jesus, man. I'm talking about this because Kendrick Lamar just released his long-anticipated album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Worldwide Steppers is weird. I think you mean based. Man, I just can't help but be xenophobic against the Brits, despite about 85% of my DNA coming from this. So true and based and awesome. Purple Hearts is good. I don't like Summer Walker's part, but the beat and Kendrick are good. I like her part of the song now. Oh yeah, and the feature that stole the show, Ghostface Killah himself. I need a new Ghostface album as soon as possible. I did not need it as soon as possible. It was mid. I like the Silent Hill beat. I'm not a huge fan of Kodak Black, but he honestly does fine here. Kendrick's flow is a little awkward too, but I'm not generally sure. It'll still have to grow on me. It's like the banger on the album besides N95. I love Silent Hill, man. Kodak killed it. Kendrick killed it. It's not awkward. I was capping. My big problem with this album is just too long. No, it's not. It's a good enough length. It's fine. The final track here is Mirror, and I have no problems with it. I like the lyrics, delivery, instrumental, and it sounds like the ending credits to a movie. It's the perfect outro, giving everything else we've heard up until this point. Yeah, Mirror is like the best song here. W take. Generally has engagement issues, no pun intended. Ooh. So I think I'd rate this a 7 out of 10. L score. And if he needs it, I hope he gets help. You idiot, that's what the album was about. You can hear all of that in the video. The blatant truth is, when I go back and watch this video though, is that I did not understand the album for what it was. I simply hadn't had the life experience necessary for it to hit me where it hurts or for the album to make sense. I understand it now more than back then because in the past 2 years I've grown so much as a person. I was starting college. I had a chip on my shoulder about wanting to do YouTube while surviving my 9 to 5 at the grocery store. I'm not a fan of working. chasing the idea of a fake American dream where I slave for 8 hours or more for 5 and sometimes 6 days a week just to live. That life has never appealed to me. Right now I work retail in a grocery store deli, to be more specific, and I don't hate the job. I just hate not having time off. I feel burnt out. I stand almost the entire 8 hours. And I wanted it to all work out, and since that time I've experienced all the main emotions Kendrick goes through on the album. Grief, heartbreak, numbness, growth from trauma. Quite simply, I hadn't grown up yet. In the time since the album dropped, I lost the chip on my shoulder and drive for YouTube. 2 whole years, lost friendships, lost love, moving across the country and finding myself again. I really connected with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers in a way that I previously hadn't before. I really connected with the songs Mother I Sober and Mirror in particular, because Mother I Sober made me re-examine myself, and Mirror is just my favorite track on the album because Kendrick is content with himself. He's okay being who he is and he knows it, and it took me a while to learn how to do the same. But judging by how people acted on the first night when the album dropped, immediately going into their opinions, it was clear that people online and on Twitter didn't get it either. There's a reason it took me 6 months to drop the West Side Gun review. There's a reason Tyler the Creator got mad at Fantano for reviewing Cherry Bomb the next day. And some music really just needs time to connect with the listener and make a real impact. So overall, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers to me is my favorite Kendrick Lamar album, despite me jumping on it to review 2 years ago when I didn't understand it, and then giving it a 7 to make it seem like I cared. But nowadays, I do actually enjoy the project since I grew up and really connected with it. And I can only hope some of y'all who didn't like it will give it another shot like I did. And that's all I got. Thank you for watching.